Alexa, turn the bedroom light on. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's vlog, which is going to be Halloween themed. We're going to do some Halloween themed things with the rats and the mice as much as possible. I probably should have dressed up as something interesting, but I literally have nothing Halloween themed for myself, so I'm making do with what we've got. I also wanted to show you how I take my Halloween pictures of my rats and mice. When I've been posting them over on their Instagram, I've been getting so many questions about how I get them to sit still and how I take the pictures, so I wanted to talk you guys through that process. I have done this in the past, but you guys are always asking to see how I do it, so I thought I'd show you. But before I do that, I wanted to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Skillshare. So Skillshare is an online learning community that offers thousands of helpful classes for topics such as illustration, video creation, photography, and so many more different topics. Whether you're a beginner in something you're trying to learn or you're a pro, there's definitely something for everyone. So Skillshare offers you unlimited access to hands-on classes that are mostly all under about 60 seconds long, so you guys can fit these projects into your everyday life. Whether it's trying to fit them around school or work, you can either pick up a new skill or develop one that's already existing. So I've been taking this class by Tabitha Park on how to capture studio quality photos of your pets, and this has been really helpful in teaching me not only how to take really good pictures of my pets, but also how to edit them afterwards, because previously I just used to put them into Instagram and just change a few of the settings directly on Instagram, but recently I have been trying to use an app called Lightroom, and this class has been really helpful in giving me a few tips on how to do that, and especially how to edit my pictures of my pets after I've taken them. But there's many pet photography classes over on Skillshare that might help you guys take better pictures of your pets. I'm not an expert, I half the time don't really know how to use my camera, and most of the time I'm just winging it, so I'm still learning how to take nice pictures of my pets, and maybe some of the classes over on Skillshare could help you with that too. You don't even need to have a big DSLR camera, you can also just take nice pictures of your pets on your phone, and there's also classes over on Skillshare that help you take nice pictures of your pets on your phone too. New classes are being released on Skillshare all the time, and there's no adverts on the videos, just so you guys can fully focus on the topics. And it's only $10 a month for an annual subscription, which I think is so good. If you were to go to an in-person class just for one topic or one skill, that will cost you so much more in person, whereas the $10 a month gives you access to a range of different topics, and you can do multiple of them at the same time if you wanted to. So Skillshare have actually given you guys a free trial of Skillshare Premium, and that is available to the first 1,000 of you that use the link in my description. So thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, it really helps a lot. If you guys feel inspired to take better pictures of your pets after watching today's video, don't forget to go and join Skillshare using the link in my description, and also tag me in your Halloween pictures of your pets because I really want to see them. I'm sure they're really cute. Tag me on Instagram or Twitter, but please tag me because I would love to see them. So I thought it'd be fun if I gave the rats and the mice some pumpkins. Now these are munchkin pumpkins. As you can see, they're a lot smaller than regular pumpkins. You can also just give them regular pumpkins, obviously in moderation, but they do have a lot of fun climbing inside of them. But I thought I'd give them these ones as they are a bit smaller, and these ones are also perfectly fine to give to them too. Also, if you're carving a pumpkin for Halloween anyway, you can give them all of the offcuts, the seeds, the inside fleshy bit. If you want to, they also really enjoy those too, but I thought I'd give them a whole pumpkin and see what they do. So I might have to cut them. I've made a start on trying to cut this one at the front, just in case they can't get into them, because munchkin pumpkins are a lot harder on the outside than regular pumpkins, so I may have to cut them if they don't show too much interest. But for starters, I'm going to see if they can accept the challenge and get into them by themselves. So I think I'm going to start with the mice, and you may notice they are in their new enclosure. This is a very temporary setup. I'm not quite finished with it yet. When I am finished, I will of course have a whole video on that, and it's not going to stay on the floor forever, but let's give them a pumpkin and see what they think. I feel like they can smell it because they're all waking up and they all look really ready to eat it, so let's see what they do. What's this? Happy Halloween! nice? Look how much mess you've made. So I'm not going to let them eat too much of this, but look at their little teeth marks. How cute is that? So cute. Okay, so now it's the rat's turn and this should be a lot more eventful. You ready, boys? You want some pumpkin? Move out the way then. Oh, Crumble. These pumpkins are so strange. Look how far in the seeds and stuff are. I was thinking they didn't have any, but the rats have found them. Would you like a seed? Ooh, yummy. What do you think? Crumble? Earth to Crumble. Is there anything going on in that head? Hello? So this is what my setup looks like for taking my Halloween pictures. I do this on my desk just to self-contain the rats and the mice. It's a really easy place to do it because they can't really jump off. And then I've just got all of my props and stuff set up there. And then I always put this box here. It fits kind of perfectly just to stop them from going over that end of the desk and disappearing off. You want them to stay where you want to take the picture. And then I've also got this white PVC background. I got this off eBay. I'll link that in the description. But you could also get others in fun colours and in like themed backgrounds. There's probably a Halloween one somewhere, so I'll link that in the description. That just makes a really nice white background for simple pictures and also pictures like this. If you don't have a setup like this, you could also just use a white bed sheet. That works really well. Or you can also get these light boxes. Just make sure you get one that's big enough to fit your rats. I might get one in the future. I think they're really good. You can also attach a light to them to make them super bright and get really bright, clear pictures. And that's also another option because those are really good for self-containing your rats or your mice or your other pets for pictures. They keep them in one spot, which is what you want. So those are also really good. I'll put a picture on screen and a link to some of those in the description. So in terms of the actual setup, I just use hay. I think that looks really nice for Halloween pictures. Then I've also got some pumpkins or gauze in the background. I like having these in the background slightly blurred and having the mouse or the rat as the main focus. I think that looks really nice. So I've got those in the background. Then I've also got my DSLR camera, which is a Canon 650D. This is quite old at this point. Maybe I'll get another camera in the future, but for now this still works perfectly fine. This is the camera I use to take my pictures. Then I've also got a tripod. I don't always take my pictures with a tripod. Depends how difficult the rats and the mice are being. Most of the time I just like to hold it freely so I can move depending on how they're moving, but I've also got the tripod just in case I need it. So moving around, as you can probably tell, I have this light pointing directly where I want to take my pictures. This is just a studio light from Amazon, a softbox light. These actually come in a pack of 2. I've never used the second one just because I don't really have enough space to set 2 up. So I just have this one pointing directly at this area. And this definitely helps. It makes it so much brighter, especially on a day like this, which is so gloomy and so dark. It does help brighten the pictures. They're still a little bit dark because this room naturally is quite dark anyway, but that definitely helps. I recommend if you're struggling with taking dark pictures, get yourself some of these lights from Amazon. They're not too much money and they definitely make a difference. So that's the lights I always use to make sure my pictures are as bright as possible. So I'm going to pop you guys on the tripod and then get Crumble and talk you guys through how I take my Halloween pictures. So I get asked so many questions about how I get my rats and my mice to stay still, and the biggest trick to this is just find out what their favourite treat is and then use this anytime you want to take a picture of them. With my rats, mostly they like to have banana chips, or also malt paste works well, depending on what kind of picture I want to take. Sometimes I will mostly just use like banana chips. This gets them to sit still for a period of time. I can then do things like balancing which hat's on them, which I don't attach these anyway. Some people do ask how I get the witches' hats to stay still, and I just rely on balancing them. They do fall off, and that is some of the pictures and the outtakes, but mostly I just work on balancing the hats on the head and then taking the picture as quickly as possible. So I just put them down where I want to take the picture. Sometimes they will try to run off with the treat and sit somewhere that's a bit more comfortable. If you start to gently place them back where you want them to sit, they'll kind of get the idea and they will eventually sit in one place, and then you can start to take your pictures. So the trick I use to get nice pictures where they're not looking like they're eating a treat or they're not just staring at the floor whilst they're eating is to wait until the exact moment that they've finished eating the treat and they're just starting to look up. That's when I start to snap the pictures and just hold down the shutter and take as many pictures as possible. Also to get them to look up and not just be staring off into the distance or staring at their treat, I will rustle something, whether it's a treat packet or whether it's just a bit of plastic or something, or I'll also make really weird noises to get them to look at me. Try to make noises they've probably not heard before, and this will make them a bit more curious and look at you, and that makes for a really good picture. So sometimes I will play around with the settings on my camera and take my pictures in manual mode. This is okay if you know what you're doing, but I don't fully know how to use my camera to that extent to get a fast shutter speed and also to get bright pictures, because it is pretty dark in here even with the lighting, and by the time I get a bright enough picture, the rats have moved and it's not the clearest picture possible. So the best bet I found is just take your pictures on sports mode, or if you're taking them on your phone, just hold down that shutter and take as many pictures as possible. Then afterwards you can go back and pick the best one, and if you're taking like 100 to 300 pictures, I guarantee you one of them is probably going to be decent. So most of the time I do just take my pictures on sports mode. I find that the best option and that does get the best results. If your camera has sports mode, I recommend trying this just because it takes the quickest possibles of your pets, and it's the best way if you've got pets that are pretty quick, like rats and mice are always on the move. So you can of course just let them explore the prop area, climb over the pumpkins and stuff if you want to. Those can also produce really nice pictures. I do prefer having them sit in one place. I find they're so much easier than chasing them around with the camera. And I also try to get them front forward and as much of the front of the face as possible. Try to avoid pictures from the side or just getting like half of the rat's face. I find you can capture so much more of their personality if you're taking it directly head on instead. So try to get pictures like that, but at the end of the day it's completely up to you, and I'm sure they'll turn out cute anyway. Obviously the most important thing is to not stress your pets out. It's really not worth it just for a picture. If they seem a bit uncomfortable in the space you're putting them in and they're not really comfortable enough to sit there and eat a treat, try to limit how much time you're putting them in that space and do things in small little portions. Don't try to force them too long to take a picture. Also, if they seem a bit scared of the shutter noise, try to desensitize them through this in the cage, somewhere they feel safe before trying to take a picture, because to a rat or a mouse that can be quite scary. But it does take time to get them used to things like this, and if you do see any signs of stress, please just remove them from this situation. Try again another day to take a picture, but do not stress them out to take a picture. It's definitely not worth it. But yeah, that is the basics of how I take my Halloween pictures. Thank you, Crumble, for being such a good boy. Obviously it does depend on which props I'm using, and some of the animals don't feel as comfortable sat out in the open. They much prefer sitting in like a basket or on top of the pumpkins, so we'll take different pictures depending on which ones are a lot more willing to have their picture taken. Like Crumble, he doesn't mind, he loves anything and everything. But do tag me in your Halloween pictures if you've taken any, because Halloween is my favourite, rats and mice are my favourite, so the combination of the two is like the best thing ever. If you have any more questions about how I take my Halloween pictures or pictures in general, do leave those down in the comments and I'll try my best to answer those. But that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else that could be helpful. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and hope you guys have a happy Halloween as much as possible. I know it's going to be a bit different this year and we probably can't do the things we'd want to, but we can still do things at home with our pets. So I hope you guys still have a good Halloween. Don't forget to subscribe. Also don't forget to use your free trial of Skillshare linked in the description, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!